Once the backbone of the nation, by 1900 farmers found themselves in the midst of decline, unable to reap the economic abundance enjoyed by many in the Gilded Age. They felt exploited by bankers who charged them high interest rates on the money they borrowed every year to plant their crops, by railroads who set exorbitant freight rates to carry their goods to market, and by middlemen who reaped large profits from the crops that they marketed, while farmers fell deeper into debt and poverty, with many losing their land in foreclosure. They demanded that federal and state government intervene to ensure equal rights to all, special privileges to none. The Farmers Alliance, founded in Texas in the 1870s, provided the foundation for what would become the Populist Party. Quickly attracting an enthusiastic following of farm men and women in the South and West, eager to halt their worsening economic condition, the nonpartisan organization soon realized its political clout. By the 1890s, Alliance men dominated 8 state legislatures and helped elect 4 governors and numerous congressmen. Farmers' legislatures passed numerous reforms, including legislation aimed at regulating railroads more stringently. Between 1893 and 1896, as the nation plunged into economic turmoil and depression, the People's Party continued to make gains, especially in state legislatures where they instituted a number of significant reforms, including rewriting state election laws to make voting more democratic, setting limits on interest rates, and increasing funding for schools, state institutions, and prisons. Massive unemployment, bank failures, and countless mortgage foreclosures set the stage for the crucial presidential election of 1896. The populists seemed well positioned to attract the votes of desperate and frustrated Americans. The Democratic Party nominated William Jennings Bryan of Nebraska for the presidency. Sympathetic to the plight of farmers, Bryan won the nomination after he electrified the party convention with a speech that became known as the Cross of Gold speech, which stressed the central role of the nation's farmers to the rapidly urbanizing nation. The populists decided to cast their lot with Democrat Bryan and endorsed his candidacy. At the same time, they nominated their own vice presidential candidate, Tom Watson of Georgia. Republican candidate William McKinley, dubbed by his party as the advance agent of prosperity, remained rooted to his Canton, Ohio home, where he conducted a front porch campaign in which he spoke to various visiting delegations. McKinley promised the American worker a full dinner pail through economic stability and prosperity, and labeled Bryan's civil rights schemes an economic disaster. Backed by big business, such as banks, businessmen, and industrialists, the Republicans spent as much as $7 million on the campaign, with at least $250,000 contributed by Rockefeller Standard Oil Company. McKinley smashed Bryan in the most decisive presidential election since 1872, which was a clear sign of the end of political deadlock. While McKinley polled only 500,000 votes more than Bryan, he swamped him in the Electoral College. The Populist Party managed to survive Bryan's defeat, but only as a shadow of its former self. Despite the party's demise, many reforms it advocated, and critics rejected as too radical in the 1890s, were taken up by progressive reformers in the 20th century. The fundamental populist demand that the federal government intervene on behalf of the people to offset powerful corporate interests would be echoed by progressives within the next 10 years.
down in a churchyard just at eve, when sunset adorned the west, and looked at the people who'd come to grieve for loved ones now laid at rest. A tall marble monument marks the grave of one who'd been fashioned queen, and I thought she is happier here at rest than to have people say when seen, she's only a bird in a gilded cage, a beautiful sight to see. You may think she's happy and free from care, she's not so she seems to be. It's sad when you think of her wasted life, for you cannot make with age, and her beauty was sold for an old